Greetings, this is Stan, and this is Interesting Ideas. Years ago, a gentleman named Scott Peck changed my life in many ways and changed the lives of millions of others with a book which was simply called The Road Less Traveled. And what he was saying is, if you want to have a successful life, personal development, that's fine. But unless it was also accompanied by what he called strong spiritual development, you will not be all that you can be, and perhaps you might not even be what you were meant to be, and you may not be happy at all. And so he suggested that we all will seek out the road less traveled. There's no question in my mind that that's true. But I've also discovered that perhaps there's more to it than that. And perhaps it's to get off the road at all. Just get off. Off-road living. And see what that might be like. So, my interesting idea is perhaps you want to leave the road less traveled and create some trails of your own. If you'll give me just a few minutes, I'd like to talk to you about that, and then I'd like to hear from you. The program begins right now. One of the persons who has influenced my life a great deal was a client of mine. Her name was Helena, and she was from a small city in Minnesota. And she was very good at what she did, and she had worked very, very hard. You know, the proverbial self-made woman who started over and not only became good at the work she was doing, but she became a business owner herself and made her mark in the community. Helena, quite a person. And as I oftentimes used to say, she reminds me of one of the early Christian saints, Saint Helena. And of course, that's who she was named for. And she deserved that name. She was worthy of it. She taught me a lot. I think I was helpful to her. And her business went up and down and back and forth. And her life did too. But in the end, she always knew how to flip over and come back. Feet up, stand up, and stride on. I admire her a great deal. Now she, like me, has joined that stage in life where we say we are performing in encore. P-I-E. Performing in encore. And though we may have left the work that we did most of our lives, we still have work to do, and we're seeking to do that and to do it well. It's our encore. Performing in encore. I'll have to remember that when I have some birthday pie in just a few days. That's the real pie. Performing in encore. Now, one of the things Helena suggested that I do, and I still might do it, as she knew what she had learned from me, she suggested that I should do a radio podcast program, and it would be very simple. Stories on the road less traveled. Stories from the road less traveled with Stan Houston. And I might do that. But I also have a friend who has joined me in terms of the fact that he now wants to take his life at this encore stage in a very new direction. And it's very much related to his love of the cowboy ethos and his love of music. And so now, after a lifetime of working hard, doing well in his job, he has now got himself a little ranch in Arizona where people can come and restore themselves and restore their life. And he's also decided to be just exactly what he wants to be. And that's a cowboy at heart. He doesn't claim that he's a real cowboy, even though he looks like it, dresses like it, wears the boots of it, can ride a horse, has a horse. But what he wants to do is sing and share the songs and stories of the world of the Western cowboy way. And he's doing that, and then, of course, he says, and I throw in a little bit of country and gospel from time to time. And we're going to help him take his songs not just from the cafe and from the restaurant, but we're going to put them on the World Wide Web, and it's going to go all over the world. And who knows how many people will be just enjoying his songs and hearing his wonderful stories and finding that perhaps there's something in their life that they should do differently too, just like Dave did. Well, he put together a song recently, like just yesterday, and sent it over to me. And it's about what an old cowboy knows. And in part of the story about what an old cowboy knows, he tells the story of a real kind of a strange cowboy who came and visited with him. And he said, the thing I learned from him, well, we're certainly not on a road. We are actually seeking out the trails, sometimes the natural trails that may have been there from long ago, certainly the trails that perhaps the livestock and the animals and the wildlife have led. But he said, this man was one who taught me how to create my own trails, that I could go up, and even though there was no trail there, I could learn how to create my own trails. Ah, that rhymes with my heart, mind, and spirit. I hope that God gives me both the courage and the creativity and the wisdom and the kindness and the things I need. I need to be brave and bolder and stronger to not just take the road less traveled, but perhaps to create my own trails. Does that resonate with your spirit? Well, just think about that. Let that sit on your head and heart for a while, and perhaps we can close up with just something to do. I'm Stan Houston. The program is Interesting Ideas for Interesting People, and we're glad that you are one of them. Best and blessings, and we'll be right back. All right, it's a busy and difficult and chaotic time, and the world's a mess. It seems to be in a bigger mess than it was before, and we wonder, will some sense of normalcy come back in our lives and business? It's going to be difficult. It will be difficult indeed. But can I challenge you, perhaps as we flow through this midweek and go into the 4th of July weekend, where we in America celebrate freedom and independence and all of those qualities of life and nationality and family and business that we would love to have, freedom and independence? What perhaps are some of the new trails that I need to create? I'm pretty good at the road I'm on. I'm fairly good at occasionally taking a road less traveled. And I even will take a new and different trail sometimes. But what might be some of the new trails that I need to create? Knowing that it may be dangerous, knowing that I may fail, know that it may not work out as I want, but I may also discover that brings me more joy and creativity and energy and a sense of purpose and meaning that I never thought possible. That might just happen. Well, again, let that sit on your head for a while for your thought and consideration. And as I always say, ACB, not ABC, ACB, always close with a benediction. and I do that again today. All the best and blessings to you as you saddle up and seek to create new trails. Bye for now.